General Hospital will reveal Sasha couldn't control her rage as she witnessed how Willow increasingly treated Michael, her former husband, with indifference and distance. Michael had not only been an important part of Sasha's life but also a devoted father and a close member of the family. Willow's change in attitude, from a compassionate and understanding friend to someone who was indifferent and dismissive of all the good things Michael had done, infuriated Sasha. It was even more painful for Sasha when she realized that the root of all this behavior was Willow's blind love for Drew, a man whom she idolized as if he were the savior of her life. Willow didn't just love Drew, she was obsessed with him to the point of blindness. Drew had become the center of every decision in her life. Willow believed that Drew was the only light guiding her through dark times, regardless of the fact that he was leading her down a wrong path. Drew, with his charming appearance and persuasive speech, gradually made himself the one controlling Willow's thoughts and actions. He exploited her blind trust to carry out his personal schemes, without caring about the consequences it might have on others. One of Drew's plans was to manipulate Willow into using her medical authority to isolate Michael from his family and children. Drew cunningly planted the idea in Willow's mind that Michael no longer deserved to be a part of her and her children's lives. He manipulated Willow into believing that distancing herself from Michael was not only the right choice but also necessary to protect her happiness. In her emotional dependence on Drew, Willow followed his path, not realizing that this was causing Michael pain and destroying the relationships around her. These actions not only caused Michael to suffer both physically and mentally but also severely damaged his relationship with his family. Sasha, who had once witnessed the good in the relationship between Willow and Michael, could not accept this injustice. She was heartbroken to see Willow, who had once been a trustworthy friend, become a tool in Drew's hands to attack Michael. Sasha's anger grew as she realized that Willow was being completely manipulated by Drew, and Drew had no intention of stopping. Sasha knew that without intervention, Drew would continue to destroy Michael's life and his family's life, possibly pushing things even further. Drew was not only a dangerous man but also one who knew how to exploit others' weaknesses to achieve his goals. Sasha couldn't stand by and do nothing, so she decided it was time to act to protect Michael and his loved ones. When Michael had a severe accident, with severe burns on his body requiring immediate treatment in Germany, where the most advanced methods to save his life and minimize long-term damage were available, he expected sympathy and support from Willow. However, instead, he was met with frightening coldness. Drew, who had manipulated Willow with sweet words and toxic psychological influence, not only didn't encourage her to support Michael's trip but also deliberately incited her to stop it. Drew knew that Michael leaving would temporarily disrupt his control plans. He exploited Willow's dependence on him, planting the false idea in her mind that Michael leaving was unnecessary and even a threat to their future. Drew didn't stop at vague advice. He painted a picture that focusing too much on Michael would waste her time and energy, thus ruining their common goals. With skillful persuasion, Drew made Willow feel that letting Michael leave was not only a mistake but also an act of betrayal against their relationship. Willow, blinded by love, chose to follow Drew's advice, refusing to help Michael with his trip. She didn't realize that this decision was pushing Michael into a dangerous path, with his health deteriorating and no timely intervention. Sasha, observing all this from the outside, could not hide her pain and outrage. She had once loved Michael, been close to him, and even though their relationship was no longer intact, Sasha still cared deeply for him. Seeing Michael in distress without the support from the person who should have been by his side broke her heart. But what truly enraged her was how Drew was manipulating Willow, causing her to lose sight of right and wrong. Sasha knew that Drew was the source of all the suffering and would not stop unless stopped. A strong yet deeply emotional woman, Sasha knew she couldn't just stand by. She realized that the only way to protect Michael and his family from Drew's toxic manipulation was to remove him completely. After many sleepless nights of inner struggle, Sasha made a bold but risky decision, to approach Cyrus. Cyrus, a notoriously dangerous and calculating figure, was suspected of being behind the deaths related to Digitalis at the hospital. Sasha knew that Cyrus was under great pressure from the surrounding suspicions and that he was willing to do anything to escape the investigator's scrutiny. Taking advantage of this situation, Sasha secretly approached Cyrus to negotiate. She was not naive about Cyrus's danger but understood that he was the only one capable and determined enough to eliminate Drew without leaving a trace. Sasha skillfully negotiated, convincing Cyrus that this collaboration would benefit both sides. Despite her constant fear, Sasha remained firm in her decision. To her, this was not just an act of protecting Michael but also a way to stop Drew from causing further harm to anyone else. Sasha was stepping into a dangerous game, aware that the consequences could be severe, but she was willing to risk everything for the people she loved. As the plan began to unfold, Sasha had to face unimaginable pressure as she kept her actions a secret. Every day, she appeared in front of Willow, Drew, and others with a calm exterior, trying to maintain the image of someone unrelated to the hidden plots she was carrying out. But inside, Sasha was constantly torn by anxiety and fear. She couldn't stop questioning whether Cyrus would complete the task cleanly, without leaving any traces that could link back to her. Cyrus was a dangerous man, and Sasha knew that if the plan failed or was discovered, she would face severe consequences. Sasha's worries didn't stop with Cyrus. She also feared that Willow, whom she once considered a close friend, would discover the truth. Willow had changed so much since being manipulated by Drew, but Sasha knew that if Willow realized she had been betrayed by her closest friend, she would turn her back completely and might even seek revenge. Sasha also constantly struggled with how Michael would perceive everything. Michael, who was an upright man, would he understand that all her actions were driven by love and a desire to protect him? Or would he see Sasha as a villain who crossed boundaries for personal reasons? These questions spun in Sasha's mind, causing her immense stress. But what weighed on Sasha the most was the biggest secret she was carrying: she was pregnant with Michael's child. Discovering she was pregnant not only intensified her feelings of guilt but also made Sasha more determined to protect Michael and her future family. She understood that this child wasn't just a new hope but also an important part that connected her to Michael. However, this also placed Sasha in a more difficult position. If the plan failed or was exposed, not only Michael but also her child would suffer the consequences of her reckless actions. Sasha struggled every day with conflicting emotions. On one hand, she felt guilty for diving into a dangerous and possibly illegal scheme to protect the one she loved. On the other hand, she couldn't turn away from the instinct to protect her future family. The child inside her was the driving force that kept her from faltering, but it was also the burden that made her fearful of the risks she was facing. She often wondered if her actions were right. She could lose the chance to live a peaceful life with her child if things didn't go as planned. Every night, when she was alone, Sasha was haunted by these conflicting thoughts. Despite this, she tried to hold on to the belief that what she was doing was necessary, that she was fighting to protect the people she loved the most. But Sasha knew that her path ahead was full of challenges and dangers, and she realized that even the smallest mistake could cause everything to collapse. Meanwhile, Willow began to notice the changes in Drew's attitude. His control and ambition became increasingly apparent, leading her to realize that the love she had for him might have been misplaced. Drew, sensing the danger, clung even tighter to Willow, finding ways to deal with the potential threats around him. However, he didn't know that Cyrus and Sasha were silently preparing for his downfall. Sasha's plan wasn't just a simple act of revenge but also an effort to restore justice and protect the people she held dear. But could she achieve her goal without paying a high price? This story unfolds a series of new mysteries and conflicts, plunging all the characters into a dangerous whirlwind full of surprises.